What's this radio chassis doing on my kitchen table? Who put this here? Well, don't they know that the workshop's one floor down? What a dingling. Oh, this is that Sylvania that keeps floating around and don't work. I see. I forgot he's got to depart today before 4 o'clock and it's already 1:45. Well, that might explain what these boxes are for over here then. Oh. Looks to me like the Sylvania's getting ready to take a trip. Well, let's help it out a little bit. It's always nice to get away for a while. I get to put her toes in the sand and pick up a nice drink, sit at the beach. Yeah, let's help this thing get in those boxes and see where it's going. Okay, well, he's been successfully installed into his box with bubble wrap. Now I gotta wrap this up. I'm gonna send it just in case he wants to align it, or it needs aligned, but I don't know. We'll see. But it's gonna get bubble wrapped and put in the box with all the other parts that I have for it. And we will get ready to close her up. The other day a package came when I come home from work, and I hadn't got a chance to really open it up a lot and investigate and see what it might be. I think I might have a clue. I think somebody's back from vacation. Especially being I see a loop antenna, and we have must be a container of souvenirs he picked up while he was on vacation. And sure enough, I know exactly who it is. Well, welcome back to Ohio. Hope you enjoyed your trip. Looks like you did. You got a tan. Look who's back, folks. I got some help on this set because there was a few things that was just beyond my scope of knowledge right now. So I sent this off to a friend, and he did some repairs on it for me. Stuff that a couple things I would have never found unless I had a few more years under my belt of repairing radios and whatnot. And sure enough, he got it all fixed up, aligned it, sent it back, and put a couple new tubes in. We had a shorted output tube, and we had this 12AT6 up front here was acting a little funky. And he put a nice new heavy line cord on it for me. The old one was getting pretty bad. So I got it to the part of where I could get it functional to the point it wouldn't put it wouldn't put an audio signal out. It wouldn't pick up a radio station. And one of the things we had found, I'll flip this over in the next segment and show you what all I did and then what he did, and how we worked in conjunction to get this thing going. So we have the main radio chassis. Here's all the tubes and stuff. And there's the antenna that goes on the back of the cabinet. Now this is the Sylvania 542 GR, the green cabinet clock radio that I've had and been working on for about 1.5 years. And we ain't got too much more to go. I gotta take some navel gelling, get rid of some rust here and there, give the chassis a wipe down. Gotten kind of grungy sitting around. And everything else should be good to go. Now, as you remember in the parts of the videos leading up to 15, what I have done for this radio in my part of this restoration was clean out the IF cans of the old mica capacitors that were in there. Took out the mica sheets because this thing had the symptoms of silver mica disease. Remember all the crackling and popping that it did and stuff? We took those capacitors out of there. But one of the things that I did wrong when I put my capacitors in is that on this IF transformer right here that had the 5 taps on it, the 5 connections, remember the 5th lead that I didn't connect to nothing? It was for, I believe, the auto volume gain or something like that. I don't remember. I had to look at the schematic. There should have been a capacitor across one of the leads back to that center tap. I didn't do that. I completely missed that. So there's one thing I messed up that I didn't get right. The second thing is I kept looking for that 25 ohm resistor, that R11 on the schematic, and remember I couldn't say I found it. I never found it, of course. It was there all the time. The lead off the clock plug back to a lead on the rectifier tube was covered in cloth, and I thought it was just the way it was. Maybe they insulated it for some reason, something got hot near it. Underneath of that cloth covering was a wire. It was a type of resistor, just a thin wire. They wrapped the cloth around it to protect it. That was my 25 ohm resistor. While this was out, that was replaced with a proper 25 ohm resistor. That's what this jobby is right here. And the last thing that yielded this set inoperable was a break in the oscillator coil, in the local oscillator coil winding. Right up in here, they started testing and ohming out the oscillator coil, checking for continuity between 2 or 3 of the points, and found that one half of the oscillator coil was completely dead. It didn't function. It wasn't there at all. And part of the real thin windings of that oscillator coil had broke. So what he did was took a real fine piece of wire, amazing stuff here, and tack soldered it back to the coil winding, and then brought it back up to this lug right here and connected it. A few other things, just some tweaking here and there, and some cleaning. I said a couple new tubes, but for the most part, my part was only the recap, the IF cans, and I replaced all the resistors in the radio except for one that was pretty much spot on, so I left it alone. Now the speaker also had some tears in it, and Wyatt was out there, he dressed them up for me. I'll unwrap that here in a little bit. Still protected. But what we want to do here before long, I need to take some naval jelly and clean that rust off the top of the speaker there. But let's go ahead and we'll pop the tubes in. They're inside of here. And we'll get out the loop antenna and set it up. I have to hook some pigtails up back to these wires here. And we'll plug it up and see what it sounds like. Alright, all the tubes have been repopulated. The 12AT6 is now looks like a new old stock Westinghouse. It's got some nice writing on it. Our 50C5 is a Zenith tube. And these two are the original Sylvania tubes, the 12BA6 and 35W4 rectifier. And the 12BE6 is no longer blackened. It's a new old stock GE. So, we are pretty much ready to try this thing out. So let's take it, plug her up and see what happens. Let's make sure it's off first. Okay, it's off. There we go. Nice thing is that has a polarized cord on it now. It should keep somebody from getting shocked. Speaking of getting shocked, what do I need to do to that radio because it's a hot chassis? What do I need to do? Where is all my training and all my schooling and all that crap at right now? Well, I didn't go to school to take any training, but what did I forget to do on a hot chassis radio before I turned it on? Forgot to put the knobs on it, dummy. At least I would highly suggest that, because unless there's a short or something like that, you don't know that. And we got to put our little jumper in the clock plug too. There we go. Alright, let's turn her on and see what happens. Tubes are starting to light real nice and quick. Wow. Boy, it looks good. I don't know what we'll be able to get down here in the basement, but let's try it out.
As then that flavor just drips down into the rest of it.
Yeah.
I do that with pies all the time. Well, back in the seats, and it holds 2-2 on Jack Hanahan with one out. And one in.
does have nice sound.
Getting Coach Alex the Lion. And for Indiana's economy, yes.
DNS, and I've got.
Unwritten. Wonder right is up. Good at that. Free battery installation only. Head into the Home Depot for incredible deals on transforming your bed. Chelsea. Oh, the reliever walks the first bat. On the app. That's a savings of $50. Give your bedroom a style.
Dial scales off just a little bit. I notice 700 is almost between 7 and the next dot. And I think these stations are actually before 16.
And that's a huge.
It's a strike. Timmons said strike one. Back in the box, feet spread wide apart, taps the plate with the head of the bat. Hitting against the strike.
Yeah, it's the die part.
Not bad at all. So what's left to do? Well, clean that little bit of rust off the chassis up here mainly, and give this a good cleaning down in here. And then comes the cabinet. It just needs a good polishing and some paint here and there. So we'll pick this up in a few minutes. So in addition to what I was telling you about the chassis, what all it still needs done, a few small items, I also want to paint these knobs. I want to take them off and paint them back. They were kind of a gold, reflective gold color. Surely I could find something that's fairly close to that I can paint them. It'll be the same color as what the bezel was around the edges there. Kind of a goldish color. And I need to figure out too what I'm going to do with this, because the scratches I can probably deal with, but the white spots, not exactly sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I thought about trying one of those kits that you buy to buff your headlights with on your vehicles, that remove all the yellowish, the haze, the nasty stuff in there, and seeing if that would work, because this is actually trapped between the layers, and it's smooth on the inside and rough on the outside. Like I said, it looks like somebody tried to polish this up with turtle wax. You can see down inside of there that green crap, or tried to wash it maybe in a dishwasher. And whatever they did, they really screwed it up. That's about the worst part, the worst thing I have to deal with. This is the parts for our clock face that goes up here, and all of our other miscellaneous screws. These will get polished out. These are brass. That's the alarm set. Goes right there. Our clock motor is fully functional. It's been completely gone through and rejuvenated. It runs, so that's a plus. And the case itself, basically, I had to dig this out. I had this in storage for quite some time. Basically, just needs a good buffing. I mean, it needs polished up and shined up. But other than that, it's in good shape. All the paint is there. There's no horrendous scuffs. It's in nice shape. But the only place that's really scuffed up is the bottom, and we aren't worried about the bottom. You can see it's, instead of being green, it's kind of turned black on these feet. That's no big problem. We just need to wipe out the inside and clean it real good. And the other only thing that I can think of right now it needs done is the scraping of the loose paint off of that antenna board, off of the loop antenna board. and repainting that red. But I'm going to have to be super duper careful with that because I don't want to knock any of these little wire traces loose. Might take like a toothbrush or something real soft and try and knock that off of there and repaint it. But guys, it's functional, it works. I'm completely satisfied with the work that was done. Everything turned out awesome, great. Cooperation on everybody's part has brought this thing to almost close. We probably got 1 or 2 more parts on this, and we will be done. So for now, we're going to call it quits for tonight on the Sylvania, and we'll see you in part 16. Thanks for watching.